to this computer. Okay, now we're good.
And I am going to share my screen real quick so I can let me go to it. Sorry, this stuff is always driving me crazy. Okay. Let me share my screen. Sorry, I gotta move these tabs. Okay. Here we go. Can you see it?
Yes, awesome, looks great.
Okay, so I wanted to, well, Katie, thank you so much for having me here at this event, this wellness event. I am so excited to be here and talk about Halloween candy. And I really hope my information is good and that, it helps others that are interested in learning about the Halloween candy, and not just that Halloween candy, just candy in general, right? So I'll introduce myself. So I am the owner of It's the Root Cause LLC. And my name is Geraldine Freshour, and I am a nutritional therapist practitioner with a deep passion for health and wellness. I am here to help individuals achieve optimal health. Today, I'm here to guide you on transforming your Halloween candy stash into a healthier nutrition packed treat selection. So I created a few slides, and I'll start first with the ingredients of the candy. I think I wanted to focus more not just on the candy, but just the ingredients. So I wanted to educate you all with what's in the ingredients and why we should probably avoid some of the candy or limit the amount of candy, right? So let's begin. So why should kids want to avoid eating all the Halloween candy? Now, I wrote down all the Halloween candy, but it's so hard to say, like, I believe in moderation, so I don't think we can avoid all of it, that we should have some. But I think when we know what's in the ingredients and we know what we're eating, it makes a big difference, right? And so I have my top 3 reasons of why I think we should avoid candy in general. So here we go. We'll go with the first 3. So the first one is food allergies and sensitivities. Some Halloween candies may contain allergens, chemicals, or ingredients that kids are sensitive to, posing a risk to their health. Nutrition imbalance. Overconsumption of candy can displace more nutritious food choices, depriving kids of essential vitamins, minerals, and nutrients crucial for their growth. Halloween candies often provide empty calories. I mean, they have no nutrition at all. Blood sugar spikes. The rapid spikes in blood sugar from consuming sugary candies can lead to energy crashes and mood swings, making it difficult for our kids to focus and learn effectively, especially the kids with ADHD. So my son has ADHD, and I try to limit his candy intake because we definitely go through that mood swing. He's a happy kid. He's really happy when he has the candy, and then it just comes down, and then he's moody, angry, and it's just a cycle. And we all regret it afterwards, right? And I hear this from parents all the time, like, "Wow, the sugar crash is coming. It's going to be bad." Right? So then we're out like, okay, go run it out. So it's quite hard. But again, I do believe we need to we need to enjoy it and everything in moderation, but it is important for us as parents. It's our responsibility to teach our kids and family members, or just anyone in general, what it does to our bodies. I think educating is huge. So I wanted to focus on some of the ingredients that are in the Halloween candy, or just in candy in general. And there are plenty of other ingredients in them, but I just wanted to focus. Sorry, let me move this thing. I don't know why it's right on my. Sorry, just quick second. Okay. So I wanted to focus on the ones that really can cause some health issues, right? So let's start with the first one, which is sugar. Obviously, sugar is the primary ingredient in most candies. And then corn syrup. Corn syrup is used to sweeten and give candies a chewy or smooth texture. artificial flavors. These are added to give candy specific tastes like cherry, orange, or grape. And then we have artificial colors. Various food dyes are used to give candies vibrant colors. And then we have the preservatives. In some cases, some candies, especially those with longer shelf life, you might find preservatives to prevent them from them to go bad. So I'm sure if you've seen a Kit Kat or M&M, I mean, it could sit for like years. It does not go bad, right? So
Mhm.
they use the preservatives in them. And then the last one, which I wanted to be my top, but I wanted to talk a little bit more about that, was the natural flavors. So I'm sure if you've seen, boxes or in a bag, of chips or cookies that they'll say natural flavors. And when you see natural flavors, your mind goes, oh, they're natural flavors. So it must be healthy because they're natural. But that's the way they market, right? They're not healthy because natural flavors actually means that they're combined with artificial additives and preservatives. So they are using the artificial flavors and artificial colors and preservatives. So that's like the main thing when you're buying at the grocery store. If you see natural flavors, it's probably better to kind of look in the back and read the ingredients, but most of the time they will have additives and preservatives. All right. So I wanted to obviously talk about all those ingredients, but I wanted to focus mainly on one. So what are like some of the health risks of associated with some of the ingredients? And the one that I really wanted to highlight was the artificial colors. They have raised concerns with children's health for several reasons, right? The hyperactivity and behavioral issues. Some studies have suggested a link between artificial food colors and increase of hyperactivity and behavioral issues in children, particularly those with ADHD. While not all children are affected, it's significant concern for those who are sensitive to the additives. The second one's allergies and sensitivities. Some children may be sensitive or allergic to artificial food colors, leading to adverse reactions such as hives, itching, and gastrointestinal distress. Now, I wanted to stop and talk a little bit more about this one. So, allergies, like we have kids that have allergies to peanuts, eggs, and strawberries, and there are other foods, but let's focus on those three. When they do consume the food, right away they react with a rash or a hive, or they need a medical treatment, right? So that shows an allergy right away. But sensitivity is way different. Sensitivity takes time, and it usually hits the intestinal wall. So our gastrointestinal wall, it causes the stress in it. So in time, when you consume the ingredient for a long period of time, it will cause inflammation in the gut. And I know right now there's so many people that have gut issues and their guts, they need like some gut health. So it just tells you how artificial color dyes can really affect if you are sensitive to them. And as an NTP, I run sensitivity tests on my clients, but I do run them on my family. And my son is the one person I do a lot of these tests for, right? So I did run a sensitivity test on him. And I saw that he was sensitive to the yellow dye number 6 and the red dye number 40. So we have spoken to him, just like you would speak to a kid that has a peanut allergy, that if he continues to eat this later in time, it can cause an issue in his gut. So we want to limit and maybe stay away from it. But again, it is hard. So sometimes he does consume it. And when we get home, we hydrate to get it out of the body, and we work on his gut. But I highly think it's important to know if you are sensitive to some of these ingredients, because they are not real food, so most of us are probably have some sort of sensitivity to them.
Hang on, sorry, 1 second. Looks like we have a question in the chat. What type
Yeah.
of sensitivity tests do you recommend taking to determine if there is an issue?
So I use the York test on kids. It tests about 40 different types of foods and additives or preservatives. And I use KBMO for adults. And that tests way more. I think it's 120 different types of foods.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, thanks.
Uh-huh. All right. So, neurological concerns. There are concerns about the potential neurological effects of artificial food colors. I mean, we don't want to mess with developing brains, right? So, the more sugar we give them, the more it's going to cause some sort of neurological issue. And we just want to keep them happy and not moody or foggy. I think later in life, when you're an adult, you can have those things, but when they're younger, we want to prevent that. So, um, because I think a lot of people are starting to see some of the effects of the ingredients and the foods are not feeling well, there's been a movement and which has been great. I think unfortunately people had to get sick to get somewhere, but I do see that there is a movement. And recently in California, and I got this article through the NPR, but if you Google, you can find the same article from different sources. So California became the first state to ban 4 food additives linked to disease. Now it's crazy, right? Because they're now saying there's these 4 food additives that are linked to disease, and they're banning them in California. So in Virginia, they're not. So they're still going to be in our, when we go out shopping, especially anything that's in a box or a bag. And it's a great move for California, but hopefully, we'll move along and start that here in Virginia or other states. And here are 4 of the ingredients that are that they ban. And one of them is brominated vegetable oil. And then the other one is potassium brominate. And the other is propylparaben. I think I'm butchering that. But again, if you cannot read an ingredient, it's probably not good for you. The 4th one is red dye number 3. I mean, I wish they put all the dyes, but it's something. And I feel like this is good, and hopefully we'll move along and the rest of the states will have a change. I got these 2 pictures from a lady that I follow on Instagram. Her name is her brand is The Food Babe, and she's amazing because she really advocates for our children, and by letting companies know that they need to be more transparent with what they're selling and their ingredients. So she gets them to change things. I mean, she's quite amazing. Her story is quite amazing too. She did get sick, and that's why she does what she does now. So I got these 2 pictures from her. So I don't want to get credit for that. So you guys could follow her here. So you can see that in the US, an M&M contains all these ingredients and all those dyes. And if you look at the UK, they only have one dye, which is blue number 1. Same thing goes with the Skittles. You can see all the dyes and corn syrup, just different types of ingredients. And then in the Skittles in the UK is way different. I think many of us, whenever we travel abroad in Europe, especially Italy, for those that can't eat gluten, at some point they can eat gluten in Europe. And it's sad to say that in our country we can't. And, we hope for change. We are seeing that. So yeah, so I think we're heading in the right direction. Right. All right. So I gave you all the bad stuff, and that's not fun. We don't want to just like focus on that. And we definitely don't want to have our kids be scared of things or just, cause issues or anything like that. We want our kids to have, we don't want them to have a bad relationship with food. We want them to enjoy it. But we also have a responsibility to teach them and educate them and to teach them good habits and moderation, because I do believe everything in moderation is key. So thankfully, there is, because of the movement, and unfortunately, it took a lot of people to get sick to come up with these brands. They're everywhere now, and it's amazing, but it's sad because we all had to get sick to get there. But there is other alternative foods that we can eat and alternative candies. And so I have some here, and then I have some here that I'll share with you. So one of the brands that I love so much is called Unreal. And they have like M&Ms, they have Reese's cups. I mean, they have everything. and they taste really, really good. And the ingredients are really clean. So it's nice because that's an option. And nowadays you can find it back in, like, I think maybe a year ago, you can only find it at Whole Foods, Sprouts, or Mom's Organic. But now they're like at Target, Walmart, Costco. I actually got this one at Costco. And I mean, the size, they're not huge, which I think it's perfect because when you have a sweet craving, you don't need a huge bar. You just need a little bit and then you're happy. And this is perfect for a kid size. They don't need a whole bar. So, I mean, it's great because they have that. Then they have, and you can see I ate these. I mean, I have a little bit of them. They're really good. And these are M&Ms.
I love the Unreal brand. I'm plant-based and vegan. I have a dairy allergy. And this is like when the Unreal M&Ms came out, it was the first time that I could have M&Ms and I don't even know how long. Like so I have the Costco size of the Unreal. And when I can find them at Wegmans, I get all the other ones.
I know, because they're so good. And it's such a good alternative because the ingredients are better. And, they are vegan. So, like, anyone can enjoy them. So I do love that. So Unreal is one of the brands. And I also love that marketing is a big thing, right? Anything that they put in a box with the Disney princess is sold to a kid. Oh, I want that because it has one of, whatever, Ariel or whoever, right? And so now there's Unreal starting to market. I mean, they have this Halloween brand now, which is awesome. They have little bats. So you can give these out for Halloween or, have them at your home for your kids. So this is Unreal is one that I really like. The other one that I like is Yum Earth. And they, again, are now selling them at Target. They have a big Halloween bag right now going. So you can get like the gummies and the lollipops and I think some other thing I can't remember. But they're great. And they're egg-free, gluten-free, shell-free, fish-free, peanut-free, tree nut-free, soy-free, dairy-free. I mean, everything free, right? And then the ingredients, again, are very clean. They use the fruits for coloring. So the colorings are going to be used as fruits, not artificial flavors. Coloring. So they have the gummy bears, and the gummy bears are so good and they smell good. They're great. So my kids enjoy these a lot. So those are the ones I like. Then the Who bars are, I don't have one with me, but I do have the chocolate chips. These are great too because they have no added sugar, no refined cane sugar, no sugar alcohol, no palm oil. Literally has 4 ingredients. It's organic cacao, organic date, organic cocoa butter, organic vanilla bean. I buy these all the time because my daughter bakes a lot, and so we use these instead of the I think Nestle. I can't remember the name of the other company, but the other one has like vegetable oil, and all the other oils are pretty harmful. So these taste awesome, and the bars are great because they're dark chocolate, so they taste a little bit different and they're better. I as an NTP, I use different types of tools to see how my body's doing, and for a couple months I was checking my blood sugar through this machine that I had, and I would have the Who bars and it would never cause a huge spike. It was just like it would go up a little bit, but then it would go down right away. It wouldn't just stay up a really long time. So that was pretty awesome because a lot of candy, what it does, it gives you that really big spike for a very, very long time until it goes down. So yeah, the Who bars are great. I love this brand. The other one that I really enjoy is That's It, and they sell this at Costco. You can the name of it's That's It, and it's only because it only has 2 ingredients. So it's crazy. I mean, 2 ingredients, and these again are pretty small, but these are perfect for kids. And right now they have like little mummies, so they have some marketing in there. And the ingredients are apples and mangoes, and then the other one is apples and bananas. That is it. No preservatives, nothing, and they're perfect. So these are The other ones I really, really enjoy. And then they have these roll-up fruits. I remember as a kid, I used to love those roll-ups, but if you read the ingredients, they're terrible. These are literally a giant everywhere. They're everywhere now. And the ingredients for these roll-ups are apples, pears, pumpkins, strawberries, lemon, and black carrot extract. That's it. And they're pretty, I mean, you get like 2 in them. I send these out with my kids all the time. My son loves these. Yeah, I mean, we recently got booed and I have the Skittles here with me. And I was looking at the ingredients. I mean, they're terrible, especially the ones for Halloween right now. They have every dye you can ever imagine. So there's options. There's definitely healthier ways to enjoy candies, and these are a little bit more expensive than getting a huge bag of Kit Kats and M&Ms, to give out for trick-or-treating. But I would suggest to just buying a few and adding them in, in the bag that you're going to use to give out trick-or-treating, because some kid may take it home and that one kid may try it and be like, Mom, this is so good. And then the mom will look at it and be like, oh, we should get this. And then this is how we're supporting these companies, because they do need our support so they can thrive. And it just takes like them to have a sample of it. I think a lot of the times people are afraid to buy a whole bag. And so when they sample something, it does, make them interested in wanting to buy it. So I will give some of these out at Halloween, and I do exchange some of the candies with my kids. Right.
It looks like Laura said Teal Pumpkin Project to support trick-or-treating is for kids with food allergies is a nice project too. So I guess there's initiatives out there.
Okay. See, that's great. I love that. I love that like I said, there is a movement, and I think parents and people are educating themselves a little bit more on eating better. Okay, so how Halloween starts October 31st, but when you think about it, it's the day of Halloween. They come home with a ton of candy. I mean, so much candy, right? And so what happens is they eat candy every day. And then Thanksgiving comes, and then we have apple pie, pumpkin pie, pecan pie, and all the food that's out there. And so then we have more sugar. And then a couple of weeks later, we have a million Christmas parties to go to that will have a ton of treats. So it really begins October 31st. They come home with a ton of candy. So we need to start talking to our kids now, about what are our plans with the candy. And I think if, when they collect the candy, if we make it fun and exciting for them with the plan, it does change more than if the day they come home with the Halloween candy, you're like, okay, give me all the candy. That was fun. You can have, 2 pieces and I'll take the rest, So I think if you talk to them ahead of time and explain to them like, hey, we're going to have this. You don't want to get sick. I mean, my kids, before I knew what I knew, would get sick every time right after Halloween, every time, and it was bad, it was terrible. So I really think if we tell them ahead of time, they will understand. And if we explain to them, I think we don't need to scare them, but we do need to explain what's in the ingredients. So here are some techniques that I use with my kids, and I share this with family and friends and my clients, of ways of how to limit the amount of candy. So one of them is called the Switch Witch, and I love this one because the concept of it is just encouraging your kids to make healthier choices by exchanging some of their Halloween candy for a toy or a non-food treat. With my son, it's great because I'll ask him like, hey, give me the candy and I'll go get you whatever toy you want at Target. I honestly don't mind getting him Legos because then he'll have something to do and something to play with and have a good time with. or I'll get something else that he may like. I mean, we obviously have a budget. I'm not going to spend a ton of money on a big toy. And then for my daughter, I mean, gift cards, they love, she loves little Amazon gift cards or whatever gift cards. And sometimes I allow them to keep some of the candy and I still take the rest because they come home with a ton of candy. So they don't need it all. The other one that I use both of these together, is the pick 10. So I allowed them to pick 10 candies. And then we considered donating them to a local dentist. There is dentists. I mean, I lived in California for 10 years. I moved here 4 years ago. So I used to take the candy to a dentist. So it's good to call your dentist or a dentist that's near your area and ask if they're collecting candy. The other is to a charity. I have a friend who actually just told me that she's sending candy to veterans. I don't always like to give out candy to other people because I feel like, I'm not doing the right thing because veterans probably shouldn't have the candy anyway. But I mean, it does help getting rid of it. Sometimes I do throw it out, or I keep some of it at home and then I use some of it for Easter, right? Because again, it's all in moderation. Yeah, so these are ways that I use with my kids and that I help them and my clients, just to kind of have moderation with it. I mean, you can still enjoy a little bit of it, but having the candy every day is just not really good for anyone. But yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Wow, so many great real strategies there. And I can imagine it's hard to have those conversations. Laura, did you have any questions? I know you've been using the chat, or if you want to use your audio so far before, looks like she's typing. Any recommendations for homemade treats for Halloween? Oh, that's a good question.
Yes. Just like I said, my daughter actually bakes. So if you're gonna get like if cupcakes, like chocolate chip cupcakes, you can use these as a healthier option. I do use brands for making like baking goods that are a little bit more clean. Obviously, we want to stay away from bleach flour. So I use really King Arthur, I think is the brand that I like, that I use for treats. Another way is just using vegetables. I've seen so many on Pinterest on ways to use different vegetables or fruits as treats. So there is definitely a lot out there that you can use for different type of treats.
Thank you. So what's the dialogue look like when you do have those conversations with your kids? I imagine like how do they understand when you're like, do you show them the ingredients and how hard it is, or like, are they like, no, I just want to eat it, like, or, how does that go typically?
Well, it's been hard. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, my kids eat all these perfect things. No, like it is difficult, but so my kids are aware of especially my oldest, she's 13. So she was aware when I was sick, and how that changed me completely. So she understands a little bit about how food matters. My son was a little hard to help him understand and to talk about this stuff, but believe it or not, like it's funny because so my son recently he plays soccer and his coach had gave him gummy bears and he never told me about it and decided to put it in his backpack and took it to school. And when he was in school, and he loves taking little things to school to share with his friends. So he took the gummy bears to school, and as he was sitting there at recess to share the gummy bears with his friends, he looked at the ingredients and he saw that in the ingredients they had, all the dyes, except the clear one didn't have a dye. So he decided to give out all the red and green and all the other colorful gummy bears, and he kept the ones that were clear. When he came home, he said, Mom, I have something to tell you. And I was like, okay, what happened? And then he told me, he's like, I read the ingredients though, and I only had the ones that were clear. And I was so proud of him because, I talk to him and I tell him, but he knew And I was like, well, what made you do that? And he was like, well, I didn't want to like act out in class, because I know those guys do that to me. Because he sees it, I mean, we did run a test, right? So he can see it. And that's what I like my work. I think when clients see through their blood that they can't eat certain things, it's easier for them to be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't, you know?
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think that if for my son is and my daughter, I mean, the conversation is just like, guys, I want you to enjoy these things, but these ingredients are not always clean. So let's find alternatives. And then sometimes I'll have this thing where I'm like, okay, I bought this, try it. Tell me if you like it. If they don't like it, I don't buy it again because it's pointless, you know? But most of the time they're happy with it because, like I said, all these brands are coming out with great stuff.
Yeah, I love that, there's different options out there. Sometimes they're a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it. It's slow. We're getting there,
Yeah.
by getting these healthy alternatives. But I was thinking about the dentist approach. So what does the dentist do with all the candy?
I think they donate them. They donate them as well, to some charity. Apparently, there's charities out there that will take them. Like I said, like veterans or I don't know, different places. But I think they donate them.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Because I was like, well, okay, so we don't want to eat them, and then we give them to people. It's like
exactly.
exactly what you said. Yeah. So,
Hard.
um,
I end up throwing them away. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't really care for them that much. I'll keep some because Easter does come, and like I said, I don't want to create my kids to be like, my mom never let me eat anything, and now I'm in college and I'm just gonna have all the M&Ms and Skittles. Like I don't want to create that. So yeah, we can have some, during I mean Easter, but then I'll buy these other candies as well to add in their little eggs. So I have a little bit of both.
and I love how you talked about, you sit down with your kids and you have those quality conversations. And I think it's really about the understanding, and that shows that your son like is reading it and is like, Mommy, I know that I don't want to act out in class. Like that's huge. I think so often, right? Like we're stressed, and it's easy to just be like, no, you can't eat that. But then we miss that golden opportunity to say, well, why? You can, and kids usually will ask why. But once there's more understanding there, I think it eliminates the future of saying, oh, mom and dad or parents aren't here right now, I'm going to eat this,
Right.
because they know what it does. And I have similar experience. Like everything good has dairy in it, like ice cream, all the things. And I have some friends who are lactose intolerant, but they'll still eat it because they love it. But I won't eat it because I know it doesn't make me feel good. Yeah. So I'm a cancer survivor as well. So I don't eat a lot of sugar and I try to limit alcohol and all that. But yeah, it's not easy this time of year.
Not. And I mean, we have days where they'll just, they'll go to, my neighbor's house and, they'll eat and, but again, like I don't want to create these kids where they can't have things. So I do have some of the stuff at home, some of these ingredients that I'm not happy with, but I try not to have a ton or I mean, it's like when we go on vacations, I'm like, okay, buy whatever cereal you want. This is like, we're going to be gone for 5 days. You want Lucky Charms, you get your Lucky Charms, you know?
Yeah.
And then we come home and we go back to the cereal we eat. And
Right.
so I think it's just, communicating and letting them know as they're getting older. I've noticed that both of them are a little bit more understanding and they're like, my mom is right. Like it does hurt my tummy or I do feel this way afterwards. Um, and they know work I do. So they hear me talk about it a lot. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Well, these are such great strategies, and yeah, we'll definitely send this out to those who couldn't be here today. And I'm gonna see if I can like even get snippets of this. Like your graphics are spot on, and love to share and have more people see this information because I think it's so important. Thank you so much, Geraldine, for doing this presentation and being here today and sharing with the world. I hope more people, and we can start a movement, each year it gets a little bit better for your strategies.
Oh gosh, yeah. Thank you so much, Katie. This was so much fun. I feel like I'm so passionate about, I don't know, just speaking about all the things, that are like health stuff. So it's thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, our pleasure. And thank you, Laura, for joining us. Happy Halloween to you as well. We'll have to check out the Teal Pumpkin Project and some of those other articles here, the mastodon.org. Appreciate that. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Geraldine? You can find her at, looks like she's got her social media there. It's at The Root Cause for her Instagram, email, website, phone, all that good stuff. So if you're interested in some nutritional therapy, she's your girl.
Yes. Thank you so much, Katie. And thanks, Laura, for being here.
Awesome. Okay, I am going to see if I can stop this recording.